So if you've been with me recently, you might have noticed that I've been on kind of an isekai gaming spree with my last two reviews. And since its second season just ended and a third season on the way, I figured what better way than to wrap things up by talking about one of the best series from the genre. Come join me as we dive into the world of OverLord.
Go, Brygo!
12 years after its release, the most popular virtual diving MMO known as Yggdrasil is starting to approach its final hours of play before going offline. And after meeting with the last of the remaining guild members, our protagonist Momonga starts to make his last journey through the guild hall for memory's sake. He visits treasures of guild achievements past, and even tinkers with one of his buddies' custom-made NPCs, because why not? I mean, who's there to stop him, right? However, things soon take a rather interesting twist when he ends up missing the shutdown, now finding himself stuck as his lich avatar inside the world of the game and surrounded by very much alive and expressional former NPCs.
Momonga-sama? Momonga-sama? いかがされましたか? 何か問題がございましたか?
Two aspects that I really love about the OverLord series so far is how well our main and supporting characters are done. For example, throughout the story we get to see how Momonga reacts to the changes he's going through due to being stuck as an inhuman character, such as losing physical urges and an affinity toward humanity. It's really fascinating because even though he notices that he's changing, he doesn't allow these changes to manifest or take over, keeping his humanity intact and allowing us to see the nature of the person behind the character.
確かにこの体になってから人間という種族に親近感はない。ナザリックの利益のためならば、いくら殺したところで心が痛むこともない。だけど、それでも。
デミウルゴスよ。ナザリック地下大墳墓。そしてこの私に無礼を働いていない人間には苦痛なき死を与えよう。
なんと慈悲深い。承知いたしました。
I also loved how the writing not only allowed the supporting characters to have their own personalities, but also take on traits and behaviors from their former creators. By doing this, it allows us to see what some of Momonga's former guildmates used to be like, without taking away from the actual story. And a great example of this is shown in episode 2 from season 1, in the argument between Aura and Shaltir.
黙りなさい! あんたなんか全くないでしょ! 私はまだ76歳だけど、あんたはアンデッド。 成長しないから大変よね。今あるもので満足したら、うんどりゃ配達も。
懐かしいな。シャルティアを設定したペロロンチーノさんも、アウラやマーレを設定したお姉さんのブクブク茶釜さんとこんな風によく喧嘩をしてたっけ。
To me, the fact that the writer goes that far shows that they care a lot about the growth and development of the characters. And speaking of characters and developments, the second season is chock full of them. Some that are fully gone into, and others that are barely even touched upon, but I'll break into those a little bit later. However, unlike the first season where it mainly deals with securing Nazarick, exploration, and Momonga building his reputation, the second season takes a more active role in his plan to become ruler. And proof of this is in the first arc when he finally gains control over the Lizard Man. It's my theory that he decided to rule over them rather than slay them all, to not only set an example, but to possibly use them in a later development. Now the second arc is the one that some had a problem with because it starts off slow, but I really enjoyed the developments that took place between Sabis and Tuarte. However, I feel that if it had ended a little sooner, we could have had a lot more information about the princess, because right now all we know is that there's a hidden side to her and that she's scheming something. Other than that, we're totally left in the dark. Now don't get me wrong, this isn't to say that the second season is bad, because it's not. It's actually rather good. But there are some development and plot issues that I can't just write off and ignore, and we're going to break into those right now. One of the biggest issues for me out of the second season was its direction. I mean, whatever happened to investigating the incident with Shaltir? If I'm not mistaken, that's where we left off in season 1, and Momonga had even decided that he was going to look into it. And sure, come the start of the second season, we get introduced to a few characters who apparently had something to do with it, but we don't get to know who they are or what their important role is in the story. Instead, that one scene is the last we see of them, and we head straight into Lizard Man mating season, because that's important. Now don't get me wrong, I understand that the Lizard Man arc was a big part of the world building in the second season, and I have nothing against world building. I actually really enjoy it. However, don't you agree though that if there's already an ongoing plot development in motion, that one should be finished first before breaking into another one? I mean, Shalltear's incident was a really big plot development from the first season, so to not have it looked into any further was a really big disappointment to me. Now my second issue kinda goes hand in hand with the first, and that's that some characters really didn't get introduced that well. For example, earlier I stated that I really enjoyed the developments that happened between Savis and Tuarle, but Tuarle herself wasn't really touched upon that much as to what important role she plays. And for as many episodes that she was a part of out of the second arc, they could have done a much better job with her character. Now other than these two flaws, the second season is still rather really enjoyable. However, if you were to ask me which one I think is better out of the two so far, I would definitely have to say the first season, because it does a much better job following through on the story in my opinion. Now as for the music for the second season, it's just as incredible as the first, and I love the opening done by OXT, Go Cry Go, and how they match certain parts of the music with the animations. Now as for the character designs and animation in the series, Studio Madhouse has done a stupendous job with it so far, so I'm really looking forward to what comes up in the upcoming third season starting in July. Which brings me to my question of the day for you guys. What are your expectations on the third season? Let me know down in the comments. And if you're new to the OverLord series, you can check it out on Crunchyroll. There is a free pass down in the description if you need it. And until next time, I'm Kei of Otaku Deity. Catch you in the next video.